From Tommy Fury saying he's going to end Jake Paul's whole boxing career to Jake offering a winner takes all offer to Tommy, it was clear from the start that this fight would be career-changing. But how will it impact him? And not just him, what does this mean for Tommy Fury? We finally got to see them both put their money where their mouth is last night. And oh boy, it was a very close fight.
Jake Paul using his jab. As we near a right hand to the body by Paul. Back comes Tommy Fury. Left hook. Fury opening up towards the end of the...
Now, I know you're probably going to come at me for saying this, but nobody can deny that Jake Paul actually held his own against an actual boxer. I mean, who would have thought that he'd last 8 whole rounds with a beast like Tommy? But to be fair, anytime Tommy started throwing in a flurry of punches, Jake would lean in for a clinch, or for the lack of a better word, hug, to shut down his offense.
70 of 230. They both start off strong.
Throws, next thing you know, there's a deadlock and there's a hold. Big right hands right there from
Still, nobody can deny that this fight had it all: drama, talent, and the anticipation of what was going to happen next.
This is the first time you've seen each other face to face. Let's keep it calm and collected. This is a fight 2 years in the making. Jake, I'm going to come to you first.
Especially after Jake managed to make Tommy lose his balance in round 7. He still lost though.
some really good rounds.
And now all eyes are on what Jake plans to do next, now that he's no longer an undefeated boxer. So, could they end up having a rematch? I don't know about you, but I certainly want to see them go at it again, and get to see an actual knockout this time. Just admit it, it was a pretty good fight. And you know what? Paul actually managed to hold his own against a real boxer with his boxing talent. Yeah, sure, let's not count the previous fights, which, mind you, were still with UFC champs. In the end, it literally came down to Fury just being better. This was all thanks to his energy coming into the fight. The way he moved, the way he bobbed, the way he landed all those flurries, but you gotta give credit where credit is due. Paul had a pretty decent overhand right because it worked in knocking out Tyron Woodley before as well. Thankfully, Tommy has a strong chin and he took all those hits like a champ.
Jumping right hand by Tommy Fury.
Good work right there from Tommy Fury into the direction of an overhand right.
Now, considering Paul had a rematch clause and that he's considering using it, we all might get a rematch if Tommy agrees to it. But that'll take a while because Tommy's going to be devoting most of his time to his newborn daughter, Bambi, at least for the meantime. So, will Jake Paul's career be on hold until then? Well, not exactly. You see, his life has had a whole storyline like a movie. He spent all this time bringing in the best trainers in the business, getting the best sparring he possibly can, and just flat out focusing on winning. And like he said after the fight, he's going to use this loss as motivation to get the win.
It wasn't my best performance. I felt a little flat. And like I said, we're going to come back and get that W. Don't judge me by my wins. Judge me by my losses. I'm going to come back stronger.
But who's to say he won't turn back on boxing now? I mean, he's already made millions on YouTube, not to mention he has some brand deals going around too. Sure, he loves boxing, but he doesn't need it. It'll be interesting to see how he's going to act like now that he's lost the first fight. This is like the make or break moment for any boxer. So whatever happens now will answer how this loss will affect his career. Maybe he'll beat KSI later this year. Who knows? One thing's for sure though, it looks like Jake Paul has hit a major roadblock right now, and he really needs a fight with KSI. How else would he get back his reputation or credibility? Sure, everybody sees Paul for the kind of person he is. He's in it for the money. But at the end of the day, who doesn't like money? Everybody criticized Jake for using his celebrity status to make millions. Now, he's proven that he can at least hold his own against a real boxer. So it's fair to call the social media star a boxer now. I get it, it sounds weird, but it is what it is. Now, considering this was by far the hardest fight Jake Paul has ever had, did Tommy Fury expose Jake Paul as a fraud? You know, like he said he would?
You are over in 4 weeks. So enjoy the last few weeks as a so-called boxer, yeah? When I hit you in the chin, you're going to stay hit, believe me.
I guess kind of because Fury proved him wrong on his claims of being better than an average boxer, this loss isn't necessarily a bad thing either for Paul. Losing to Fury will push him to be better now that he's gotten humbled by someone more experienced. The big question is, will he rise to the occasion and accept the challenge? Well, he could use his rematch clause against Fury,
but we did big business, you know, a big event, and for that reason, the rematch is going to be even bigger.
But that would probably be a bad idea because his right hand and physique won't be enough to help him win against pro boxers. Before this, he had the element of surprise working in his favor because all of his opponents underestimated his strength, and they all went down when they least expected it. I don't need to tell you how it was much harder to take down Fury because, being a boxer, he knows how to adapt. Let's not forget that he's been trained for this his whole life, and he had trainers that could spot all of Paul's weaknesses. In the end, Fury won by taking advantage of those weaknesses. In other words, experience won. From the first bell, Fury became more active and wouldn't wait for Paul to settle in. He blocked Paul from firing to the right by jabbing hard and moving around constantly. After the first 2 rounds were closely contested, Fury discovered that Paul has no backup plan, because every time Paul ducked to fire the right hand, Fury would unleash an uppercut that would land on him. And the problem child was out-jabbed by him as well, and by no means are any of them as good as the boxing greats. But what this match did was show us that a boxer with any kind of experience in the sport can spot all the good and bad during a fight. So then, what's next for the 26-year-old? Will Paul be committed enough to overcome all his weaknesses like Fury, who had all the tools he needed to take advantage of Paul's inexperience? Well, I don't know the answer to that, but Paul did say that he was committed to boxing and would face his rival again.
But that's why I do think the rematch is huge here. Because it was such a close fight and really could be, I guess, if the fans are saying it's a controversial win.
The question is, should he though? Another defeat is probably not a good idea, man. It would land a massive blow to his marketing power or his ability to use social media, because his genius marketing skills and popularity helped him bridge the gap between older spectators and the younger demographic. Now, even though Paul really wants to fight Fury again, maybe he should think about a high-profile matchup with KSI, because he can take advantage of a different amateur boxer, cash another big check, and earn back his reputation. What's more, a rematch right away probably won't give him the opportunity to fix his flaws, and the businessman in him might realize that protecting his brand is much more important. Either way, Paul will have to make some difficult choices if he wants to continue on with his boxing career. For now, he needs to decide whether he's an entrepreneur like Dana White or a boxer. It's not impossible to be both, but his boxing clearly needs work. He has more than enough money to dedicate his life to boxing, but because of his financial stability, he also has the option to switch gears and try his hand at MMA. So there's that too. But for now, this loss has definitely put a dent in his reputation. That was all about how Jake Paul's loss to Tommy Fury will affect his career.